security company was tasked with guarding the former hijacked building, and he had been receiving threats at the time of his death. Tswaku says Stock obtained a protection order against several individuals just a week before he was murdered.
So we believe that it was a hit because those individuals internally, which is a modus operandi in the city, they start by forming some bogus committees inside the building and persuade tenants not to pay to the owner, and they will pay to them and some other protections inside there.
Prominent lawyer Ishmael Ayub is set to be laid to rest at this hour following his passing. Ayub died at the age of 83 earlier today, with the circumstances surrounding his passing still unclear. Ayub was known for representing anti-apartheid activists during his career. Khomotso Modise has more.
Ishmael Ayub was known for his work in representing anti-apartheid activists, including former President Nelson Mandela and Winnie Madikizela Mandela. Ayub represented Madikizela Mandela in her murder and kidnapping case of 14-year-old Stompie Sipe, and was reportedly also one of the few people allowed to visit Mandela while he was incarcerated on Robben Island. But his relationship with the former president turned sour after a series of legal disputes between them. In 2005, he was removed from the Nelson Mandela Trust after a court battle over the unauthorized sale of Mandela artworks. Ayub will be laid to rest this afternoon at the West Park Cemetery. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
Second quarter crime statistics reveal that Cape Town remains at the epicenter of violent crime in the Western Cape. The murder rate has increased by 15.3%, with a total of 1,160 murders recorded in the second quarter of the year. Police also recorded a total of 1,157 attempted murders. Deputy Provincial Commissioner Preston Foscale says firearms are at the heart of violent crimes in the province. Camry Clark has more details.
The release of violent crime statistics paints a grim picture of violent crimes in the province. Gains recorded in the first quarter were reversed in August, with murders increasing by 77 cases. However, police say they've confiscated 1,291 firearms across the province during the reporting period. Acting Provincial Commissioner Lieutenant General Preston Foscale says authorities are seeing a rise in cases involving women, including elderly women found in possession of firearms. In addition, more than 12,900 dangerous weapons were seized over the period in review. Camry Clark, Eyewitness News at SAP's Provincial Headquarters in Cape Town.
Police in KwaZulu-Natal are ramping up their efforts to ensure a safe festive season for residents as well as visitors. This morning, police conducted a stop-and-search operation in Mthwalume in the south coast of KZN. This is where 3 people were arrested while 10 unroadworthy vehicles were impounded. The Transport Department says it is determined to ensure that road accident rates are reduced during this time. Transport MEC Siboniso Duma.
We've arrested already 3 people this morning, drunk and driving, but there was too much in the morning, which is unfair for our road users and pedestrians who will be coming across such vehicles.
Duma says they also impounded an overloaded bus that was travelling from Durban to the Eastern Cape.
And they're just going to take it to Hibadin. We've already come across with 400 vehicles this morning. There will be minor things like the number plate in front is not installed deliberately as to ensure that the cameras are not going to recognize you. It's something that is a tendency.
And a former Harvard Medical School morgue manager has been sentenced to 8 years in prison for stealing and selling body parts. A federal judge handed down the sentence to Cedric Lodge, who pleaded guilty to trafficking the stolen remains from 2018 to 2020. According to reports, the parts were donated for scientific research. More than 400 families whose loved ones donated their bodies to Harvard were affected by the thefts. Gold is trading at $4,320, 2 cents an ounce. The rand is at 16.74 to the dollar, 22.32 to the pound, 19.62 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $58.92 a barrel.
Heading in and out of the Joburg CBD, traffic heavily backed up through the Rivoli area. This is heading towards Selby on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Nasrec. There's also slow-moving traffic in Newtown on Albertina Sisulu. That's opposite Oriental Plaza.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 25 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Johannesburg Community MMC Mgcini Tswaku says a targeted hit is being investigated following the death of slain DJ Warris.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 1 o'clock. Welcome to 7:02 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, on this Wednesday, the 17th of December. How was your day yesterday? Day of reconciliation. Did you reconcile? Did you just take it as a public holiday, playing catch up with yourself? What were you up to? Let us know. Coming up on the show for today, we are going to be asking of you, as a husband, as Mkwenyana, what do you do when you visit the in-laws over the holidays? Do you feel like Mkwenyana, you actually do nothing? You need to be outside drinking beer, waiting to be fed? Do you give over your card? Like, what are some of the things that you do as Mkwenyana when you are visiting your in-laws? Or are you of the belief that Mkwenyanas should never be sleeping over at in-laws? It's not what we're supposed to be doing. I want to hear from you. Our finance feature, we're going to talk about tips for summer side hustles. So what are those side nyana hustles that you can take on to make a bit of extra cash? Cash will be joined by Sarah Nicholson, Head of Customer Experience at Just Money, for that conversation. Then we wrap up with our Masterclass. We're going to be continuing with part 2 of our masterclass on silent divorce or psychological divorce. Jabu Zwani will join us for that conversation, marriage and couples counselor. We have kept some of your messages from part 1, but don't worry, we'll do a recap, and I hope all of you use this opportunity to really get some insights and advice from our guest on silent divorces. Get in touch with us, 011 883 0702. SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
We all know the horror stories that Makotis possibly endure when visiting in-laws, and it may be your first time as a Makoti visiting your in-laws, particularly over festive season where there are significantly more people in the household. And the cliche or the stereotype is that Makoti is up early in the morning, she's preparing breakfast, she's preparing tea, she is cleaning, she's then preparing lunch, and then she's preparing supper. She is constantly on her feet. And if she's a mother, she also is making sure that her kids are taken care of on top of the other kids in the household. There are so many things that we all kind of have an understanding that Makotis do when they visit their in-laws, especially for holidays. I've even heard of Makotis who are expected to pay for everything when they go to visit. Now, I want to know today, husbands, Mkwenyanas, what exactly do you do when you go and visit your in-laws? When you go and sleep over, like, talk us through what you do. What is expected of you? What is asked of you? What do you volunteer? Or are you a person who says, Mkwenyanas are not even supposed to be visiting in-laws like that. They shouldn't be sleeping over. They should book B&B, come and share a meal, and then leave. I want you to take a listen to what inspired this conversation at Cat Moore on TikTok, who is sharing his experience as a husband visiting the in-laws?
Visiting my wife's family, and I've just been stuck in the bedroom because I'm shy to go outside. And when I do go outside, what do I even do? What do husbands do? What do husbands do? Like, all I do is spend money. Once I go outside and spend some money, when I have some money, let's just go spend some money. Yeah. I don't know what to do. But let's go figure it out.
Thank you so much, Kat Moore, that you can find on TikTok for that, who says he's been stuck in the house. What are husbands supposed to do? He's spending money, but other than that, he's just in the bedroom because he doesn't know what it is he's meant to do. I asked somebody on our team who said, firstly, as Mkwenyana, I must come, eat, and then leave. I'm not supposed to be sleeping over. That's what he says. I try to think back, when we're visiting my grandmother's house, did my dad and uncles really sleep over? I don't think they really slept over like that. But I do remember that they were prioritized. They would sit outside, have their beer or have their tea, or if there's fruit cut up, it's taken on a tray. And then they are prioritized when it is mealtime after the children. They are prioritized. They must be plates dished up for them. But I'm trying to remember, what did dads do? I don't even recall what they would do. So I want to hear from you as husbands, as Kat Moore is saying, I'm visiting my wife's family and I'm just in the bedroom. What am I supposed to be doing? Must I just be outside chilling? Like, what should we be doing? 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
You're listening to 702 Afternoons
With Relebogile Mabotja
winner for the best talk show
at the Telkom Radio Awards.
Okay, so we are going to look at some of your responses, but let me start with my very own brothers. I can speak to somebody who is an Mkwenyana who says, I get treated very well by my in-laws. I get fed well, and then I help my father-in-law with housework. I offer. Men generally connect through labor. And then he goes to say, but I have to wear a jacket at all times, even if it's hot outside, even when swimming. Because of respect, I became Mkwenyana wearing a jacket, so I must wear a jacket. Sorry, guys. I'm recovering from being sick. Wear a jacket. Because I'm like, if you are sleeping over as a Mkwenyana and you wake up, are you going in like your boxers to the kitchen to make yourself coffee? And you might bump into your father-in-law in his boxers in the kitchen. Like, is it awkward? Or it doesn't matter. Are you guys chilled and you've become that kind of a big family? One message on WhatsApp says from ST, Thobela Relebogile and the team, as Mokgonyana, my wife must make sure I don't sleep over at her parents' houses during the holidays. The same way I'll prefer her to make sure I don't sleep over at her parents' home before I lobola. But it's a pity some women, they allow their husbands and boyfriends to sleep over. Okay. Nati says, as a son-in-law, I do the roles I do in my house. I clean the yard, the garage. I help my father-in-law where he needs help. I actually saw a video of a woman who was sharing in the US that it's almost like her parents wait for the son-in-law. So they're like 4 daughters. When it's festive season and they're all there visiting, the father already has a list of things that the son-in-laws need to do. Fixing of things in the house, things in the yard, trees that need cutting. He puts them to work. And she basically was saying, I guess that's the point. If you're going to have 4 daughters and now you have 4 son-in-laws, you let the work gather the whole of the year. And then you have that list there of things they must paint and do. Floyd Mabasa on Facebook says, we braai meat and we drink beer. That's what we do. Shoks Mulaudi says, it all depends who and where your in-law is. Me, I do nothing. Unless there's an event, then I have to mend seshebo. Haidra Jardine Ismail says they need to be more human about it. Well, share what that looks like. Dumazi says, I have visited. What else am I supposed to be doing? So visiting is the thing. Mabala Nitapelo says, I become the handyman at the house. Jimmy Mhlanga says, drink, oh, I lost the message. I'm so sorry. They're coming in so fast that I seem to have, found it. Jimmy says, drink whiskey with uncles and brothers. My in-laws in KZN treat me like one of their own. We just vibe nicely and I feel at home away from home. I love the Gaminis in Amanus, Bergville, my Gamini Zama. Thank you for that. Sefoloshane Masemola says, my husband refuses to visit with me at home. So there are husbands who won't go. Can you guys share with me why? Is it because you feel that once you've paid lobola, you shouldn't be comfortable there? Like, what is the reason? Ken Sefolo says, I'm going to listen on the radio because my visitation is loading. Likonolo says, in my culture, the husband is not allowed to spend the night at his in-laws. He can visit for a day and then go back to his place when nighttime arrives. If he stays far away, then the in-laws must organize him a place to spend the night, but not in the same house as the in-laws. I have heard that before. I'm curious to understand why that is the case. Alf says, I become handy. I just got off putting in a Wi-Fi extender for my in-laws. I'll fix things around the house. We literally don't just sit, is what Alf has to say. Let's go to the lines. Olga in Rudaport. Hi, Olga.
Hi, afternoon, Relu. How are you?
Good. Go ahead.
Relu, I've been married now 18 years, and I believe that it is up to the two families of what they believe in. If the two families or the family you're visiting, they've got beliefs that you need to conduct yourself and behave in a certain way, I guess you need to follow that so that you don't come across as being disrespectful.
Okay.
But then, if there isn't like anything expected or my wish, which my husband and I practice and our families, I've been married 18 years now, we believe that you are one of us now. He is one of my parents' siblings, and he hangs around with my brother. If my brother is not home, he's sitting there with my dad. We go shopping, we come back, we sit together, and we hang out as a family because he's one of us. And it makes life much easier. And we've been doing this for 18 years. When we visit home, it's a few days at his house and a few days at my house. Okay. And it works well because that's what marriage is about. They say we're paying lobola and we are creating relationships. But then what happens after you've done that, but you're not living like relatives?
Yes, I get you.
That's
so
my take.
Do you understand when some men say that they don't believe a man should be sleeping in his father-in-law's house?
I don't believe it because I don't understand the reasons behind it. Because if they've welcomed you as their son, why shouldn't you sleep there? That's my take. If they've welcomed you and they're comfortable with them, with you taking their daughter, you are one of them. And I don't see a reason why they shouldn't allow you to sleep over and be part of the family. Yes.
I hear you completely. Olga, thank you so much for sharing, saying that you must go by the beliefs of the family. And if they've welcomed you as a son, basically. Munwabi C on Facebook says, I can only visit the in-laws when there's a serious matter that needs me to be the example, a funeral, but otherwise don't go. Bongane says, wear a pinafore and Duke cook, do the dishes, help with childcare, change nappies, fix what needs fixing, enjoy all of the good stuff. Thank you for that one, Bongane. Yolanda says, when hubby visited, I felt like I was a makoti in my own home. My parents loved my husband more than they love me. The system has robbed us. And I do know of those parents who are going to be there. Like, let's say in your own house, your husband usually dishes up for himself. When you are visiting home and he's there as mkwenyana, you must know that your mother's going to be saying, get up and dish up for your husband. There's no such thing of no, but at home he does it. He's not going to be doing it for himself. There are in-laws that will make sure that certain level of respect is maintained the way that they have raised you, not based on the culture you have developed in your own house together with you and your husband. More of your messages coming through. Paul says, I stopped visiting the in-laws. Way too much drama for me. Askisi Paul. Nare says, in African culture, there is a silent rule that umkhwenyana does not get involved in his in-laws' business unless invited. Still a standard procedure, or else umkhwenyana is interfering. So men mostly do nothing unless there's work already being done, and he will assist instead of sitting under the tree. However, when it comes to finances, men or husbands become involuntary slaves like soldiers forcefully conscripted into war. They are required to go pop out cash every time simply because of the societal rules that view men as ATMs. Fani says the following, lol, as a matter of practice, I visit my in-laws, but I never sleep there. If I have to sleep in the area, I tell them I'll sleep by a friend, then book myself into a B&B and come back in the morning. Let's go to the lines. Jim go Atteridgeville. Hi, Jim.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thanks, and you?
I'm very sad.
Jim, please take us off speaker and speak directly so we can hear you nicely.
Okay, I was a little bit.
How much better? How much better? Hey, I no ring.
What's your ring? I visited my in-laws last year. You see, when you didn't experience it, is so boring. You see, but nage experience it was nice for me.
What happened?
I used to get to say Babazala. You see that, helping him in the yard. Help him, because other guys, you see, they maybe my boss bara, they don't know how to install electricity. Maybe sometimes but
yes.
I used to help them, and then it is just nice, you see.
So why now we born as bonda?
Yeah, bonding, that relationship is already strong.
So
maybe I visited with my children, just compare to see stuff like that.
So what do you think when some of the gents say it's not right to sleep with your in-laws, turn it ubuke somewhere?
No, they must experience it. If you didn't, it's not easy, but it's nice.
I love it for you, Jim. When you are happy, I can see you and your in-laws get along.
Even on Friday, I'm going with my wife and children. We are going there to visit.
Sleep over.
Yeah.
Gamonate joang. Jim in Atteridgeville, thank you so much. Can one of the gents please tell me, Hore, when you are visiting the in-laws, laparang in the morning when you're going to go get coffee, do you put on a full outfit so you don't bump into your father-in-law, Kadi boxers? We have your voice notes on 072-702-1702.
Wear a jacket. Hi, good afternoon. Me as a Mkwenyana, I think I was a Mkwenyana for 1 year. After that, I was just, a son. That's it. I go there, I do everything. We do everything together. There is, of course, you keep some level of respect, but otherwise, all is cool. We braai together, we slaughter goats together, we skin the goat together. Yeah, there is no punishment of you must spend money or you must be hiding somewhere. No.
Hi, Relebogile. As a Mkwenyan, you don't go and sleep to your father-in-law. Just visit and go.
Hi, Relebogile. It's Hosea. You know what? Now people always amaze me, because so now I never slept Cabo Makoti anyway, so that for me is a no. But yeah, what's the difference does it make? Like if you don't want to sleep Cabo Makoti, then but go Joburg, you stay with Makoti Mus. You know, so you stay with Makoti, go to Quebec, but you don't want to sleep at Makoti's place. You know what? So what's one? I mean, what is it that you guys, you're not gonna do how Makoti because of you sleep, you stay together for 3 bombs, you know? So yeah, that's me.
All right, more of your WhatsApp messages. One person says, Relebogile, can they please share more about the sleeping arrangement? So those of you that sleep go bomakoti at your in-laws, what are the sleeping arrangements? Do they separate you, or do you guys get your own room and sleep together like a married couple? Or do you feel like it's disrespectful if your wife's father is under that roof or you're in the same bedroom? One WhatsApp says, Lebo, where does Mkwenyana even sleep? In his wife's childhood bed? The niece and nephew's bedrooms with Spider-Man bedding. Awa, don't sleep at your in-laws. Husbands can come and go, and while they're there, do as the other men of the family do. Hi, Relebogile, I think any something figure, I'm trying to decipher this message. I think any something figure out what they should do when they visit their in-laws, as long as they are doing something and not just sitting and drinking. Onkarabile Muhomotsi from Midrand. Hi, Relebogile, there's a funny story, excuse me, of a guy who offered to go and tlhagolela mabele, as in tend the maize field. So the mom-in-law appreciated that because she was now given a chance to rest, and Mokhonyana took the wife somewhere. Come January, no work was done. Those lovebirds went to chill under a tree there. This is from Ishmael. So he took on a role and then did not finish the job. Afternoon, Relebogile. I don't go to Mama Zala's place. Imagine coming from the bathroom and you come across Mama Zala. But if are you walking from the bathroom, Osapara? Like, are you not like with a gown or putting clothes on? I'm so confused about what the awkwardness is. But again, obviously, what's going to dictate the family dynamics is your wife's relationship with her family. Rami from Meadowlands. Hi, Rami.
Hi, Lebu. How are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
All right, I want to tell you a story about Hanekinitri. I got married, and then I went to my in-laws in Brakpan. Bakhametsiko Strateng. Dipompo di Luko Strateng. So I was not supposed to meet my in-laws, my father-in-law. Then I went to Lohamitsi Hoseng. I came back. I came to kitchen. I was not aware of the
Yes.
Oh
my gosh.
You know, horrible things. I
all because you were bumping into your father-in-law while carrying. What was awkward? Is it that he was not fully dressed or you were not fully dressed?
No, he was okay. The thing in Melchori, we are not supposed to. I was not supposed to meet with him anyway. Can you imagine that terrible thing? Terrible thing.
So as Makoti, you're not supposed to bump into your father-in-law anyway when you're there.
Zulus, some of the Zulus. That's what they did. And there we met in the kitchen. I tried to turn back. Maybe I splashed the whole house.
Oh my
running
gosh.
away. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rami. I didn't know. Now, as Makoti, you're not supposed to bump into father-in-law. I mean, I can understand if we're already night dress, but also, guys, I'm so curious as to what these relationships are like. I see your voice notes and your messages. It's 1:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. The Special Investigating Unit has secured a preservation order allowing it to freeze 2.7 million rands from the sale of land linked to irregular National Lottery funds. In 2018, the SA Youth Movement, chaired by Alfred Sikudla, received approximately 23 million rand in funding from the Lottery Commission for the construction of old age homes in KZN and the Free State. The SIU says Sikudla transferred a portion of those funds to his own company's bank accounts. Preliminary investigations into the church building collapse in Durban that claimed the lives of 5 people has found that the developers did not submit any approved building plans. Last week, search and rescue teams were called to the scene of an under-construction 4-story building in Relebogile that suddenly collapsed. While in the UK, hospital leaders are calling for resident doctors in England to start talks with external mediators, the doctors have begun a 5-day walkout over pay disputes as well as new jobs. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage, heading in and out of the Joburg CBD traffic is heavily backed up. That's through Rivoli, Selby area on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Nasrec Road. Also, in the Newtown area, expect some delays on Albertina Sisulu opposite Oriental Plaza. In Bryanston, heading towards Four Ways, and it seems like there's an accident seen on the N1 southbound, and this is before Winnie Mandela Drive, slowing down traffic all the way from Rivonia Road. Look out for those faulty traffic lights. That's in Edenville at Morafontein Road and Van Riebeek. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Why do you think it's so easy for someone in the inner CBD, you go and execute someone like that? I'm just worried that we're getting to a point where people who need to do the right thing will not do that anymore. Whether it's a good cause, in this case, let's say you're cleaning out these buildings, hijacked buildings, whether it's your work as an auditor, as an investigator, maybe as an investigative journalist, maybe as a broadcaster who shares their views. People are going to be scared to say what they want to say or to do the right thing because they live in a country where it's just going to be messy when you do.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
This season, American Swiss is serving up a festive feast of gifting with unbeatable deals to help you spoil someone special or yourself. Think watches at up to 50% off, including Tempo, MX, and international brands. Diamonds are up to 50% off, and get gold and silver jewelry that makes a statement at up to 30% off. There's something for everyone at the table when you discover gifts worth celebrating at American Swiss, your festive gifting destination.
To celebrate 25 years of helping you live the Premier life, FNB Premier is giving you a chance to win a 14-day European tour experience and other cool monthly prizes. Open any FNB Premier account from September to 31 December 2025. Switch your salary, swipe or tap a minimum of 2,000 Rand per month for 3 months straight. Spend and win with FNB Premier. FNB, help changes everything. TCs and competition rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
At Dis-Chem, get ready to celebrate instant savings with better rewards. Swipe to get 20% off plus an extra 10% off lifestyle food extra virgin olive oil 1 liter. Get 20% off plus an extra 10% off Biogen Premium ISO Whey 1.5 kilos. And get 30% off plus an extra 10% off Slow Mag Magnesium 100 capsules. Look out for the Better Rewards icon in-store and online. Offers valid until 11 January 2026. Dis-Chem, better health starts here.
This week, 702 was in conversation with Cell C, and they told us more about their recent JSE listing.
We have seen some contraction by the other 2 players in prepaid from a revenue point of view. We think we'll be able to go positive. So we think we've got a growth story coming off a lower base. We've got exciting opportunities and propositions for a customer-centric organization. So we think we'll be able to take some share there. We're also a very lean and agile organization. We're only 900 people. So strong partnership model on how to get to market. So it's compelling. So far, we're seeing decent results.
Cell C is now listed on the JSE. Switch to C. Switch to Cell C.
No matter where you are this summer,
stay in the loop
with 702.
25 minutes to 2 o'clock, and we are talking about that time of the year when you go to visit your in-laws as a husband. If you do, because some of you are saying there's no reason for a man to be sleeping under the same roof as his father-in-law or even sleeping at the in-laws. But if you are a visitor, what are the things that you do there? Because we all know what the Makoti stereotype is of what she's expected to do while visiting in-laws over holidays. What are the gents supposed to be doing? At Cat Moore on TikTok was sharing a post saying he's at his wife's family's house and he's been in the bedroom because he doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing. He's given his card for certain things. But other than that, what are husbands supposed to be doing? 011 883 0702 in the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. We have some voice notes.
Relebogile, yeah. No, as a Mkonyana, you look for things to do, things to fix in the yard. You look around, you go around, even if it's not broken, you go there, tighten up, and do all the work. Seen to be busy. You want to be seen to be busy, seen to be working. So yeah, that's what you do as a Mkonyana.
Now I went to my, she's still a girlfriend that time. I went to my girlfriend's home in Eastern Cape. You know what that girl did? She served me food. She kneeled down when serving me food. She kneeled. She first came with, the faituku with metsi, warm water, and then she gave me food. And then I looked at her, I said, hey, well, you don't do these things at home, stand up. How? Next thing they'll be asking me to pay no bola. Saying but I love her. Thanks, really, it's KG, but not start the clock.
KG, you are killing us. So because she doesn't do those things at home, she mustn't, where you guys are together, she mustn't do that in front of her family because they want lobol. The part that kills me, Abalezi says, but I love it. I love that. More of your voice notes.
Hi, Relay. You know what? One thing that I've noticed about black culture and whatnot, we promote the oppression, man. Everything is just oppressive. We don't promote love. We don't promote, or maybe our way of bonding. It sounds very traumatic, Shem. So this poor woman must slave away. This guy must sit under a tree. No, man. Poloso from Midrand.
I don't really. So my brother-in-law practically does nothing. He usually comes around the time you're about to dish up. It's like he knows, or maybe he comes a little bit late, but does absolutely nothing the whole day. And then the wife and us, we all have to run around, giving him food, doing whatever, drinks and whatnot. Then he just brings his cooler back. But then with that said, that's why for me, I've always said I want to marry into a white family. Because guys, can we just, if you're married, why do I have to act like a stranger inside your house? I don't get this whole thing.
Hi, Relebogile, it's Bongani here from Kempton Park. Well, I'd say it's a definite no-no. The in-laws' place is a definite no-no. Would visit there and pretend to be sleeping at a friend's place. Book an Airbnb or any B&B, come back in the morning, and life continues. The ATM part is a given. You will be the ATM, but you don't have to sleep over.
Hello, Auslebo and team. Well, for me, it's normal to sleep at my in-laws. My partner is colored, I'm closer. So we sort of balance things out in terms of that, because whenever I'm sleeping at her parents' place, I would share the bed with my son because, traditionally or culturally, for me, I cannot share a bed with my partner at her parents' place. So yeah, we sort of balance that out that in that manner. Sam in Albert.
Yo, okay, it's so interesting because I also think part of it is cultural and the other part is not, in the sense that families decide what their own culture is going to be. Pinda says, my husband blends in with my siblings. I even forget he is around. On the WhatsApp line, Nati says, as a son-in-law, I do the roles I do in my own house, clean the yard, the garage, help my father-in-law where he needs help. Hi, Relebogile, it's true. My neighbor's son-in-law, whenever there are in-laws around, he should stay in the bedroom. We don't want to bump into him. How, guys? What do you mean? Mangoba says, I really love and enjoy visiting my in-laws. It's my second home. I sleep till late and I sit with my father in-law under the trees. I really cherish those moments. Hi, Relebogile, I have 2 challenges. Number 1, going into a bathroom without thinking about who is going to go in after me. I want to relax in the bathroom and use my spray nicely. Number 2, I eat 4 full meals a day and I wouldn't feel okay doing so at my in-laws. How, isn't that what your wife is there to just cover you for? And maybe if you want to spray peacefully, set an alarm for 2 a.m. and go to the toilet. Zeno says, Lebo, I'm of the opinion that if lobolas pay, the in-laws are to welcome and treat you as their own son or daughter. So why shouldn't one sleep there? But then again, each culture to their own. I also kind of more of the view of like they've gained a son. When my Tswana in-laws were alive, my wife and I visited them and we slept over a few times. I got along with them very well and they treated me like a son. No drama and no second guessing. I guess them Kwenyanas should do what the in-law traditions accommodate, no impositions from Trulani Sibeko. As a son-in-law, I just do more or less the same things I do at my own home, socializing with my in-laws and helping out with whatever work is required. I'm just treated like a special visiting son, and I sleep with my wife, eat and wash there and feel very welcome, the same way I saw my father and his own sister's husbands treated when I grew up, and I feel blessed. That is from Farai. Richard Ntuli says, when he's visiting, he drinks with the brothers of his wife. So he's outside busy grooving and drinking with the brothers of his life. Our final voice notes on 072 702 and 702.
Amos here from Runback. It's an interesting topic that you guys are having. Look, man, for me, I've been with my wife for the last 21 years, married for well over, let's say, 16 years, right? I do visit her. Only when she's around, I do sleep over. But only when she's around. When she's not around, definitely not going to happen. But yeah, I see nothing wrong. I'm fully integrated now with the family. I participate in most of the stuff. But yeah, only when she's around.
It's actually very nice. So now I slept at my in-laws this past weekend, actually, from Friday until Sunday. It was very nice. You don't get to do much. They, pretty much do everything. And on top of that, I mean, your lady gets to, take care of you. I mean, it's very nice. It's a very nice experience.
Afternoon, Relebogile Zonka from Spray to you. You know what? In my family, we don't discriminate. Once you get married in the family, you are a brother or a sister. So we don't have all those issues of discriminating. If you are a man cooking in your house, you can cook for us. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We treat you like our brother. If it's a woman, it's our sister. And we hate these names of Makoti and Squeezer and what. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, Relebogile. Yeah, I believe Mkonyana is not supposed to sleep over. That's a no. Mkonyana should have his house. If he visits, he should find a way to pay for a hotel or a guest house. He should not sleep over controlling family home Yamakoti. That one Kiahan. By the way, Relebogile, nice show. Where do you get your topics from? Yo.
Thank you so much. So where we get our topics from is either experiences that I have in my personal life or my team has in their personal lives, or we see other people sharing their personal lives. So today's topic specifically, Kat Moore on TikTok was asking the question to say he's visiting his wife's family and he's been sitting in the bedroom because he doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing as a husband. So that's where today's topic is from. And we do try our best to always credit whatever inspired the conversation, but we find our conversations everywhere. And sometimes we even get the topics from you. You will WhatsApp us while we're on air, topic suggestions, we make note of it. Sometimes it is other producers in the building who will say, we came across this topic, we think it will work better on your show. So feel free at any time, 702 afternoons at 702.co.za. That's 702 afternoons at 702.co.za. We generally are not a current affairs show, but we don't stay away from current affairs. So feel free at any time. We love this first part of the, it's sort of like the first 45 minutes of the show where we get an opportunity to laugh or share a topic that is not so deep and heavy news, and just to vibe together. So really, we can't take full credit, even though we have a producer here. We can't take full credit for topics. We get the inspiration from all around us. So thank you so much to all of you. The last one I'll read is from Louis, who says, I visit my in-laws at the village. I chop lots of firewood for my old lady, Mama Zala. Then she knows I'm craving for 3-foot baked bread. So you see, it's also not the same, because if you're visiting your in-laws in town, it's not going to be the same experience if you're visiting the in-laws Komachayeng. And I also think, as one of the listeners rightly said, it all depends on the culture of your in-laws and kind of the expectations there. But thank you so much. Husbands, we're going to need story times when you guys come back in the new year. Or how did it all go?
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Johannesburg's MMC for Community Safety, Mtini Chwaku, says Warwick Stock had a protection order granted against 5 people. The individuals, whose identities are unknown at this stage, were reportedly living at a hijacked building called Zambezi, where Stock was managing the security. Stock's company, Elite VIP, secured the security contract. Chwaku told EWN that there were genuine threats against Stock's life by those listed in the protection order. The protection order was a week old.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Who says everyday driving can't be très chic? Rent premium with Sani Sixt now. Own the stylish Citroen C3 later. Yes, that's 3 cars, 3 months, 3 chances to say ooh la la. Just book directly on sani.co.za. Call us or rent at any branch between 1 November and 31 January, and you're automatically entered into the draw. Bon voyage with Sani Sixt and win. T's and C's apply.
At Checkers, we do more so you get extra this Christmas. With festive savings like Danone Ultramel Vanilla Flavored Custard, 1 kg for $24.99. And Clover Butro Full Cream Modified Butter Spread, 500 grams for $69.99. Plus, stand a chance to win your share of 7 million rand in prizes. Simply buy any 3 qualifying products and swipe your extra savings card to enter. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060. T&Cs apply.
Meet McDonald. He is the self-proclaimed king of homegrown veggies. You see, McDonald believes as long as he sprinkles the seeds, the veggies will grow. He even promised beetroot and carrots to the entire neighborhood. Now, abantu bazotini, when the neighbors are asking for their share, but not a single veggie has grown. Ah, booty, avoid the embarrassment. Make smarter decisions for your home. Visit Cashbuild for quality gardening tools and seeds at the lowest prices. Cashbuild.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Some news from our wine industry. It looks like they've had good conditions over the period. They're expecting a strong harvest this year. Wandile Seklobo is chief economist at the Agricultural Business Chamber of South Africa.
Taste and quality, Stephen, when it comes to wine matters. And this time around, because we had this intense heat and nice rains at an appropriate time, it turns out that the maturation of the grapes have actually been excellent, and the volume of cores has been good.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Khuritis is brought to you by ABSA CIB, accelerating infrastructure-led growth and economic resilience through the South African National Treasury's 11.8 billion rand infrastructure and development finance bond. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
702.
Finance feature.
11 minutes to 2 o'clock in our finance feature for today. We talk about tips for summer side hustles. So what are those side hustles that maybe you can be taking on to make a bit of extra money? We're joined by Sarah Nicholson, head of customer experience at Just Money, and we take your calls with your questions and comments on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 702. Sarah, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Sarah, okay, what are some of these summer side hustles we can look at, or maybe opportunities one can explore?
I think summer brings really good opportunities to earn some extra cash. It's because of the holidays, good weather. the festive celebrations. So with a little bit of creativity, you can potentially look at avoiding some of that December debt stress and really infamous January. And you can look at things like food and snack stores. Maybe looking with year end, there's an steep increase in social gatherings, so you could potentially take advantage of that and do some meal prep and takeaway party platters that you could sell. You could even look at gift wrapping and personalized gift services in malls or offering that around your neighborhood. And if you do perhaps have some cleaning skills or extra time in your hands, you could even go around home cleaning and doing holiday prep services for holiday rentals, especially with guest visits peaking now in summer. So there's quite a few opportunities that are not terribly difficult to do, and that you can take advantage and help to bring in some additional cash.
The one you just mentioned made me, actually, the very first job I thought of was being Father Christmas at the mall or being an elf or one of those seasonal festive season gigs that happen.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about just gift wrapping, you can imagine it's the last minute crazy bit of shopping that's going on. People want to bring the festive vibes. Of course, there is a lot of pressure to get everything done quickly. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities one can explore with this. And we also need to understand that it is a time of stress, and we've got to make sure we're managing our budgets very carefully. So if one can find ways of bringing in additional cash and even helping other people with the stress levels, I'm sure you'll have a booming business.
I'm just thinking about the fact that during this time of year, there are obviously two pretty big opportunities that stand out for me. The one being that people are traveling, so they obviously need house sitters. People's full-time help is not there, so there's the piece jobs of cleaning, gardening services, maybe walking dogs and things like that. And the second one I was thinking about is the industries which do get busier over festive season and might be in need of festive season hands, like retail or restaurants.
Absolutely. I mean, the home and cleaning and holiday prep services, like you said, with people traveling and a lot of overseas visitors or people coming through to different areas, there's all the holiday rentals that need deep cleans or garden tidy-ups. People are looking for something that's efficient, transparent, and of course you want as little stress as possible, so that's something that one could offer. There's also the children's holiday programs and babysitting. Parents are looking for reliable childcare during this time with school holidays. So it's important, if that's something that you'd be keen to offer, you could get some security clearance at good pricing and offer those services. There's even online freelance services. Some businesses might need temporary campaign support. And if you've got strong writing or design or admin skills, you could find or utilize that to bring in some extra income. So I think the main thing is to understand the season that's taking place or what's happening, and then use your creativity to create something. And this really helps you build confidence that you can actually create a side hustle and potentially make it something that can drive revenue for you for a longer term.
In terms of the skills that you'd say a person needs to really brush up on to be sort of fitting in with the requirements of summer extra jobs, what would you say those personal skills are?
I think it really is making sure that you understand what skills you have available. So perhaps you're very creative, so you could utilize that. Understand what your interests are and what resources you have available. But I think it goes back to making sure that you follow some very basic principles around making sure that you start with a small, so you could start something in your local community. You need to make sure that you've got some basic finance skills, so you're able to manage your cash flow. And that just is very simply like making sure you're keeping daily records of sales and your costs. Don't go and splurge on huge upfront stock purchases or equipment purchases until you've got some demand. Make sure you scale wisely and also look and understand what the risk is with your tax. So I think it's, it depends on what you're wanting to start, but making sure you've got some really solid basic financial and practical steps that you follow will help you grow this business wisely.
There are many young people who maybe have no work experience. What would you advise that they try to do? I saw a young lady on TikTok who was doing a come with me as I take my CV to different stores looking for holiday work. And you can see her going to Pick and Pay, to Checkers, to Nando's. She goes to fast food places and she drops off her CV and you sort of see her having that interaction. What tips can you share with a young person who maybe has no experience but is trying to go the route of, putting themselves out there for these opportunities?
Oh, that is so great to hear that people are doing that. So I think what people are wanting to see is that there is some reliance, that you are creative, that you are dependable and reliant. So if you can start something, especially during this holiday season, like whether it is looking after children, dog sitting, house sitting, building up some form of CV that you can then share with businesses as you go, that will really go a long way in creating more job opportunities for you as well. And it's something to add to your CV if you've got nothing. So I think you can start in your local area, offer some services based on your time, and that you write down and put in your CV, and try and get some referrals from the people that you've worked with as well, especially if you're doing child caring or dog walking. And then that will help go a long way in building your CV.
Can we chat about some of the volunteering opportunities where maybe a person isn't able to find something paying and they've, sort of gone all out to put themselves out there, but maybe they are trying to find jobs that maybe give them a different kind of value, like you mentioned, experience or improving their skills?
Absolutely. I would definitely have a look and see what volunteering options are available. What you're really just trying to do is make sure that you've proven that you've got some form of work experience, and that you are able to put in the effort required to run or do the work that's necessary. So I think one can definitely reach out, especially during this festive season. There'll be quite a few opportunities. Perhaps it's working with animal shelters or some form of charity, which also goes a long way, that needs volunteer services. And often you'll find you can grow in those positions, which will add more information to your CV, which you can then share with different businesses, or perhaps even start your own side hustle based on the experience that you've gained over the festive period.
In terms of side hustles, if a person, let's say, has a skill of baking scones and things like that, what would you advise them to do? I know some people kind of struggle with how to set a price because on the one hand, you want to get rid of stock, but on the other hand, you're trying to make money. What guidance can you give them? Particularly, I've seen in some of the community groups I'm in, there are people who are starting to do little hampers of activities for kids over the holidays. So it's got crafts items in it. Others are trying to do Christmas hampers that have like different types of food in it. How should they go about making this deal something that customers will want to go for while also being able to actually make money?
Yeah, I think that's a really great idea, but it's important to establish your rates. So, in many cases, you want to undercharge or be at a very attractive rate so that people will take it up. But I think it's important to, let's say you are making something, you want to look at calculating the cost. Let's say it's food, you want to calculate the ingredients and the material that you need or the equipment that you've got to get. Look at your hourly rate. You've got to look at how much time you're putting into this, and then add a 20 to 30% cost for overhead. So make sure that you're covering yourself from a cost perspective. And then start small. Maybe you can start with, like you said, friends or your local community, or even at weekend markets. It's a really good place to start as well. And then use grassroots marketing. So utilize WhatsApp, social media groups, try and encourage referrals, offer small discounts to existing customers. And I think it's really important that you be brave and you market yourself and your offering, and use what is available so you get started.
Thank you so much, Sarah Nicholson, for chatting to us, Head of Customer Experience at Just Money. In the next hour of the show, it's part 2 in our masterclass on silent divorce. Get your questions in early for Jabu Zwane. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. It's 2 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The Special Investigating Unit has secured a preservation order allowing it to freeze 2.7 million rand linked to irregular national lottery funds. In 2018, the SA Youth Movement received approximately 23 million rands from the Lottery Commission for the construction of old-aged homes in KZN and the Free State. The SIU says the movement's chairperson, Alfred Sekudla, then transferred SIU spokesperson Kaiser Khanyago.
The property in Copperleaf Gold Estate, purchased for approximately 800,000 using funds earmarked for community development, was co-owned by Sigudla and Chauke in 2018 and was subsequently transferred to Chauke as part of their divorce settlement. Further investigation have revealed that the proceeds from the sale of this property amounted to 2.5 million currently reside in Chauke's bank account.
Khanyago says the SIU will stop at nothing to recover proceeds from beneficiaries of lottery grant funding who are involved in unlawful activities.
This order prohibits Chauke from withdrawing or transferring the funds until the SIU completes a review application to cancel the grant funding that enabled the purchase of the land, thereby ensuring that the potentially misappropriated funds are secured.
Preliminary investigations into the church building collapse in Durban, which claimed the lives of 5 people, has found that the developers did not submit any approved building plans. Last week, search and rescue teams were called to the scene of an under-construction 4-story building in Verulam that suddenly collapsed. The Department of Public Works and Infrastructure held a media briefing today to communicate the outcomes of the prelim investigation conducted by the Council of the Built Environment. Infrastructure Minister Dean McPherson says the sudden structural failure happened during the pouring of wet cement at one of the upper levels of the construction.
Of particular concern are preliminary indications from the relevant authorities that no approved building plans were submitted, that no construction permits were issued, and that the building may have been occupied prior to the issuance of an occupational certificate, all of which would constitute serious contraventions of the national building regulations and standards.
Police in Mpumalanga have opened an inquiry after 10 buses caught fire at a depot in Barberton today. It's understood one of the buses caught fire before igniting the other 9 buses parked nearby. The circumstances surrounding the incident have not yet been established. No injuries have been reported, while local authorities have vowed to work with bus company Busco to avoid disruptions for commuters during the festive season. Mpumalanga Police spokesperson Donald Mdluli.
There is a team of experts that have been assembled to work around the clock and establish circumstances surrounding this incident where 10 buses bent. For now, we don't suspect any foul play. However, we cannot rule out any possibility.
Let's stay with policing matters. In KwaZulu-Natal, officials say they are ramping up efforts to ensure a safe festive season for its residents and visitors. This morning, police conducted a stop-and-search operation in Mthwalume in the South Coast. This is where 3 people were arrested while 10 unroadworthy vehicles were impounded. The Transport Department says it is determined to ensure that road accident rates are reduced. Transport MEC Siboni Sotuma.
We've arrested already 3 people this morning, drunk and driving, but there was too much in the morning, which is unfair for our road users and pedestrians who will be coming across such vehicles.
Duma says they also impounded an overloaded bus that was travelling from Durban to the Eastern Cape. While in the UK, hospital leaders are calling for resident doctors in England to start talks with external mediators. The doctors embarked on a 5-day walkout over pay issues as well as new jobs. Tens of thousands of frontline doctors rejected a recent offer by government, saying it was too little too late. While the offer included fast expansion of specialist training posts as well as covering out-of-pocket expenses such as exam fees, it did not include extra pay. Health bosses have urged patients to come forward as usual, but have warned that some appointments will inevitably need to be rescheduled. Gold is trading at $4,320, 2 cents an ounce. The rand is at 16.74 to the dollar, 22.32 to the pound, 19.62 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $58.92 a barrel.
In the traffic heading in and out of the Joburg CBD, expect some delays on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Church Street, and in Bryanston travelling towards Fourways, traffic sluggish. N1 South between Rivonia Road and Winnie Mandela Drive.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 25 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. The SIU has secured a preservation order allowing it to freeze 2.7 million rands linked to irregular national lottery funding.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Minutes after 2 o'clock, the second and final hour of 7:02 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. We're going to be picking up on part 2 of a masterclass that actually turned out to be quite big, and I'm glad it is, man. It's that time of the year where, in particular, marriages, intimate partner relationships, couples can see themselves going through a challenging time. So we're going to have part 2 of the conversation around silent divorce or psychological divorce. If you missed part 1, you can catch up on primemediaplus.com. But don't worry, we'll do a recap with our guest, Jabu Zwane, marriage and couples counselor, for this conversation. Get in touch with us. 011-883-0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702, using the hashtag 702 afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702.
Masterclass.
Masterclass time. We are talking silent divorce part 2. Part 1, head over to primemediaplus.com or download the app, as we're joined by Jabu Zwane, marriage and couples counselor. 011-883-0702 in the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Welcome back, Jabu. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yes.
Before we even recap and jump into our subject matter, I have to ask a question.
Yes.
In our first hour, I was asking the gents, as a husband, as Mkwenyana, when you visit your in-laws, what do you do? Because we know what the expectations are. And here's some of the feedback. Some men said, as a husband, you're not supposed to sleep at in-laws. It's inappropriate. Even if it's far, you must book somewhere. Say you'll sleep at a friend, but book somewhere, but you can't be bumping into your father-in-law. I had some men who say, oh no, I love it. I hang out with my father-in-law. I help around the house, whatever they need. Others say you must just be under the tree and drinking, waiting basically to be fed. So I'm curious, because obviously it depends on the woman's relationship with her family and all of those things. And there's some who's saying, but why would you act like an outsider if you're now the son of the family? So I want to know what your thoughts are on what should husbands, in inverted commas, be doing, mkwenyanas, when they visit in-laws, if they should, because they're saying, I should never sleep at my father-in-law's house.
I mean, for me, when I get to my in-laws, I'm a stirring. But that's because I grew up with my wife. Her friend, her brother was my best friend, and her parents see me more as his son more than anything, even from back when I was in high school. So I'm very free when I get there. I cook, I sleep there, and my house is also a couple of houses from her house. But I would rather sleep there than actually sleep at my own home.
Really?
It's a family for me.
Oh, man.
It's a very close, tight family.
And I think that is the ideal, right? Is that it should be like that. Another gent was saying, look, it's expected that I'm the ATM when I'm there. But I think for the person who inspired the conversation, Kat Moore on TikTok, who was saying, I've been in the bedroom and I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, can I leave? What should I be doing? So I absolutely love that. But thank you for your contribution. So let's recap on what a silent divorce or a psychological divorce is.
It is basically when disconnection happens over a long period of time, over many unresolved conflicts, over many issues that were never addressed. And there's a particular point where you start to feel like friends, not even so much friends, but you feel like more like people are coexisting in the same space. The only time you connect is over errands, over operations of the marriage itself, but not on important things like intimacy, on sharing, on having fun, being great companions with each other. It is it's a point where there's indifference start to settle in, and you almost like you are just forbearing the relationship more than progressing and growing together and making something great out of the relationship.
There's something we didn't touch on the last time, but I thought it's important to raise, is that if there is no connection, but there is still physical intimacy, can that still qualify as a silent divorce? Because, you know, a couple still laying next to each other and maybe doing the things that adults do doesn't necessarily mean that they are actively working on their marriage. It could just be, what's it called, honoring the obligation or doing it for the sake of.
Yeah.
But I want to know your thoughts on that, because if somebody is listening and they think, well, everything you said makes sense, but we're still physically intimate, so it shouldn't count.
I mean, I think we have to also understand that it's because we are,
mammals.
We're having the up and down, the jumping up and down. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're being intimate. It could just be release. Could just be a very practical way of just releasing the tension, or like you said, it could just be out of duty, and it's only a matter of time before that itself becomes unbearable. I would imagine that I can't think of many cases where actually that is still going on in that way, except only maybe from the point of duty, especially if there is, in some cases where there is financial dependence, and maybe one person, typically a woman, doesn't feel like they can leave because of they're not financially independent, and they just simply avail themselves because of it's a duty that they've got to do, and they don't want to necessarily trigger any kind of retaliation from the husband. Yeah.
Okay, and I think it is important to understand that physical act can possibly even make you feel worse. If, for example, in your marriage, you were feeling like you're not seen and you're not heard, but in this one department you exist, and then the greetings in the morning maybe,
come back.
They're not even the thank you for the food if there's still food.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It can be quite humiliating, I would imagine, because you'd feel very used up in that way. Because when this person is feeling like, okay, I need the release, and I call it release because it's not about intimacy, and it's not about making love as it is sometimes described, but it's about releasing themselves of whatever pressure and seeing you as that tool that they're going to use to release. And you're feeling very, very humiliated and dehumanized. And I would imagine adds even more to the trauma of not being seen. Not only now are you not seen, but now you are actually being devalued and being degraded. That's a terrible place to be in.
Okay. In terms of from the time we were on air together to some of the feedback that you've gotten, what are some of the issues that were raised before we delve into more of the questions that we didn't get to address from the WhatsApp line? And I invite you all to please keep your questions coming through, and feel free to be anonymous.
There were lots of responses. The most common one was, you are describing my marriage. You are describing how I'm feeling. You're putting words to what I've been experiencing that I couldn't understand. I think there was one particular interesting one, which was like, don't talk about it. Don't talk about that, because then you're gonna cause problems in marriages. But describing the problem is not instigating anything. That's how I feel about it, is that we have to give description on these experiences. Because when a human being has a description and understand what they're going through, it's easier then to sort of figure out what the next steps are. But it was sadly an overwhelming majority of people that said, hard conversation, something that I've been avoiding to get into, but now that I at least have the language, at least I can be able to tackle it.
I love the fact that we are giving language to what some people are going through, painfully so. I actually received a phone call after our conversation to say, I think this is what my friend is going through. And she keeps describing the struggles in the marriage. And maybe you can help here, where they say, if somebody keeps crying to you about their marriage, whether they're a friend or a sibling, whatever, whether it's the husband or the wife, now they're saying to their loved one, I'm frustrated, I'm this. And the easiest thing for the person outside to say is, if you're not happy, leave. But it's obviously not that simple.
No.
But now the friend or the support system is getting frustrated to say, you're not doing anything about it.
Yes.
Number one, you're still crying. Now get festive. Things get heightened because you see other people doing things in their marriages and families that you were hoping for. Maybe you've been asking for a holiday for years, and this person said, okay, fine. But now the holiday is not booked. Now you just ask, this Christmas, can we go to my family's house for a change? We're always going, and it's not happening. So I feel like also during festive, it's heightened. Can you talk to us about the support system around the couples going through these challenges? What would you share with them who may be frustrated to say, I don't know what to do. If you're not happy, leave. You're still complaining. Nothing's changing. We're seeing you become a shell of who you were as a person. It's a tricky place to be.
It's a very tricky place to be. I mean, I think there's a point. I'm not the advocate of just telling people to leave, but you must definitely do something about what you are unhappy about. And part of it is that, if the other person that you've been talking to about, can we have a quality time? Can you just get me those flowers? Can you do this? Can you do that? And they continue not to do that. Either you insist on having some kind of an intervention, or you take certain steps on your part to say, well, if that's going to continue that way, this is what I'm not willing to participate in. I'm not willing to participate in this relationship in the way that it is. Unfortunately, if it continues to harm you mentally, psychologically, and you're not able not to sleep, and then you're starting to experience some serious issues, even autoimmune diseases, you're gonna have to do something to protect yourself mentally and psychologically, because these things do affect you. If you're not able to sleep over a long period of time, it affects your health. It affects your health. It affects your work. It affects your relationship with your children. It affects your relationship with yourself. And so you need to set up a boundary. And a boundary is, I will do what I need to do to protect myself if you continue to do the thing that harms me. So if I say, for example, Relebogile, speak to me nicely, stop yelling at me when you're talking to me. I talk to you once, second time, third time I walk away. Third time I don't respond to you. That's a boundary. That's me putting that boundary to say, if you don't stop the behavior that is harmful to me, I'm going to put up a wall, right? I'm going to put up that gate. So I don't try to, the boundaries, I don't threaten you, and I don't control you. I don't control your behavior. I don't say to you, well, because you didn't, you must do this whether you like it or not. Otherwise, I'm going to make you, or otherwise I'm going to do something, I'm going to weaponize something against you. But if you continue to do harmful behavior towards me, and let's face it, when people come and emotionally dump on you what they're going through, and you love them and you care deeply for them, hearing that over and over and over again can start to affect your own mental health as well. So if you haven't done anything about it, you're going to say to your friend, I love you very much, but I'm not going to engage with you in this conversation any longer unless we're speaking of solutions. If it's solutions we want to talk about, what do we do next we want to talk about, I'm here, I'll support you. But if it's just for you to come and emotionally dump and leave me with this emotional heavy load, and you go back to this person, and now I'm having to not sleep because I'm wondering, are you safe? What's happening with you? We're not doing that. And that's what a boundary is. So I can support you, but there's a point where I'm not going to become an enabling factor to dysfunctional behavior by keep on availing myself. You come here, you feel better, you go back. You come here, you feel better, you go back.
And it's the same cycle
It's a
that
cycle.
now if other people are now a part of this cycle. I want to start on a message that's come through now because I think it's pertinent to the time where we are in. We know also that when work quietens down, the distractions to whatever's going on at home are going to become very loud. So if, for example, you could get through because Monday to Friday you're at work, so you don't have to deal with this person 9 hours of the day. And then on the weekend, maybe Sunday becomes whatever, Saturday's the kids. Now it is every day that you are looking a person in the eyes and the frustrations building. So this one comes from Philip in Soweto, who says, my wife has a tendency to visit her family during festive, leaving me all alone by myself. I find this very abhorrent, but there's nothing I can do. Oh, Philip, I'm so sorry to hear that. And I'd be curious to know if you and your wife have ever had a conversation, because what's standing out to me is the fact that you're saying, leaving me all alone by myself. What are your thoughts, Jabu? Because to me that sounds heartbreaking, that perspective. It's not something that is like, yay, freedom, I have the house to myself. It's like, you've left me alone again.
I mean, I would have the same mindset as you have. I would want to know what was the conversation. What is it exactly that your wife, is doing by going home? What did you discuss? Did you speak about? What did she share with you about the importance of her going home? And what is your alternative other than wanting her to be there with you? And when you are there together, what is it that you guys do together? Let's say that one year you stuck around and she said to you, well, I'd like to go for fun things. I want us to go hiking. I want us to spend quality time together. But for you, it's a downtime and you don't want to do anything. And so now she's having to sit with you, looking at you every day, quiet, no conversation. And now she's thinking, I'm going to go home because at least at home, there's some kind of
interaction,
engagement
engagement
of some sort. You know what I mean?
Or plans or hanging out or quality time.
Exactly. So my question to you, I mean, the double barrel of leaving me alone by myself, I would want to know, like, why is that how you see it? What is it that makes you feel like she's leaving you alone by yourself? What stops you from going there? Do you not have an alternative to go and visit your family yourself as well and then alternate? Have you guys not spoken about starting your own culture together, your own traditions together as a married couple? And those are the conversations that I would want to know, or the questions I want to know, like what happened. It's not as simple as that she's leaving me alone by myself over the festive season.
Because I think you're bringing in the part also of, and the way I'm reading it is, what is she running away from? Not just the what is she going to. So I'm curious, Philip, what are Christmases or festive seasons like in your home?
Yes.
Do you take the initiative to plan things as a family, or do you kind of look at your wife hoping that she's going to organize everything? Because
and serve you?
Yes. Oh, that too. Because maybe, and I'm not saying this is the case, I'm just going to plant scenarios. Maybe Kohai, she feels like she's given a break from taking care of everything in the house because maybe her mom is now the one cooking. Maybe she can rest. Maybe over festive season at home, whether you guys have a live-in helper or not, she feels like she doesn't get a break. It could be that, as you said, you're not planning anything. She wants activities and you just want to chill, and she actually wants to get out of the house with the kids. So I think there's a number of factors that need to be looked at, and hopefully they can start with a conversation.
Absolutely. I mean, I think for me, one of the most common complaints that I get from couples, especially from women, is exactly that, a lack of planning over the festive season and a lack of quality time in terms of creating your own traditions. And again, I'm speaking in general terms here. The expectation that you've already mentioned, where it falls squarely on the wife's shoulders to come up with what those traditions are, and the husband just simply participates and everything has already been organized. But then what does that mean for her after she's been working throughout the entire year? Does that now mean that she never gets to have a break? Yes, she's not going to work and all of that, but what happens with the kids if there are kids involved? who's in charge of that? What happens to the whole the admin of having to figure out everything that needs to be done in that time? So I would say if you are in that space right now, this time of the year, how much ownership are you taking of it? Or is it only merely from the expectation that something needs to be done and for you to just come and enjoy it?
Maybe it's a good opportunity before we go to the news and before we go to all the questions. What should couples, in terms of conversations, be having before festive season, especially in terms of expectations?
Ah, beautiful.
Because I think that sets the tone also for how you're going to rest, how you're going to all of those things. But maybe play the scenario out of how one of the individuals in the marriage should bring it up, as opposed to everybody sort of looking around and expecting somebody, and then one person feels like, why is everyone looking at me? And then, how should the conversation be brought up? Should it be, Jabu, my husband, we've got festive coming up, Bo Mama are hosting something, maybe we can do something at home. What do you think? Like, where does that conversation start?
I think the conversation starts for me in your first year of marriage. Would be, what traditions do we want to start for ourselves, even without the kids? What traditions do we start? Most couples would say, especially in the African, in the black community, this year we'll go visit your family, and next year we'll go visit our family. And then when we start having our kids, then we start to alternate, and then we start to have our own time as a family. The second part I would say is, discuss the finances that are involved in setting that whole thing up, because this can be a very strenuous financial period. If there's been savings for bonuses and stokvels up until this time, how much of that time is going to be dedicated towards if you're going to be flying tickets, if you're going to be taking buses, if you're going to be taking a drive together in a car, petrol and all of that, and accommodation. Have discussions about that. Are we going to go out every year as a tradition, or are we going to alternate every second year as a tradition? And where do you pin that? Where do you place that? Where do you place the going out? Do you place it around Christmas time? Do you place it around towards the end of the New Year? Or in my case, with my wife, we try to have it only after New Year's, because we know that things are a lot more affordable at the time. We've got a big family, so we don't really want to get into, and also she likes her private time. So she doesn't enjoy being with so many people everywhere.
Because I was going to say, I think couples also need to have honest conversations about if they need alone time.
Yeah.
Maybe your wife wants a solocation of 3 days by herself. Maybe husband wants to go camping with his friends. I don't know.
You know what? For the last couple of years, I would actually take the boys and leave my wife alone. I would just go with the boys somewhere, and then probably 3, 4, 5. Sometimes 1 year was
for her to have the house to herself.
By herself.
Ah.
By herself. The only responsibility that she has is with herself. Why? Because in terms of the work that I do, I get to have a lot of alone time myself. Sometimes when I travel, I'm out for a couple of days by myself, and I know how valuable it is to be in a place where I have no duties of kids. I have I'm just by myself. I can just focus. And so we do that, not just even throughout December, even some holidays. In fact, I even know of a couple that has a house, another flat, not too far from where they stay.
Yes.
At any given moment throughout the year, if any of them feel overwhelmed, they'll say, you know what, baby, I'm going to go.
Yes.
And they'll spend a weekend over there by themselves. I think we cannot sometimes undermine the importance of just being alone with your thoughts and being almost in a way forced to appreciate and to miss each other.
I absolutely love that. When we come back from the news, we're going to delve into all of your questions and your comments, your experiences, as well as WhatsApp, which says the name silent divorce, or the term is the problem. Well, I think we can delve into that when we come back, because I know the D word becomes a banned word in marriages, but sometimes people are living it without saying it. You are living the D word, and that's what we mean by the silent divorce. You are behaving like people who are no longer married, even though you're married on paper. But we come back and we continue. It's 2:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. Johannesburg MMC for Public Safety Mgcini Tswaku says popular DJ Warwick Stock may have been mistaken for the owner of the hijacked building that he was providing security for. Stock, who was known as DJ Warris, was gunned down just outside Carlton Centre in the Joburg CBD yesterday. Preliminary investigations into the church building collapse in Durban that claimed the lives of 5 people has found that the developers did not submit any approved building plans. Last week were called to the scene of an under-construction 4-story building in Verulam that suddenly collapsed. While the National Council of Provinces has given Treasury several deadlines to improve the financial performance of municipalities, Treasury has also been issued with an ultimatum to review the current formula used on the equitable share and how money is divided. The House was considering the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill as Parliament wraps up its business for the year. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this hour, if you're heading in and out of the Joburg CBD, expect some delays on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Church Street. Otherwise, the rest of 702 land looking good. No accidents have been reported on our highways. Just look out for those faulty traffic lights, though. In the Edenvale area at Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeck, traffic lights still not working. In Marlborough at Marlborough Drive and the M1 North. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
There's a new way to experience all your favorites. Pulse Africa, the 24/7 fast channel, now live on PrimeMediaPlus.com and the Prime Media Plus app, bringing you the best of Prime Media around the clock. Watch the biggest moments from 702. It's non-stop entertainment and authentic African storytelling, all from Africa's leading media network. Pulse Africa, only on the PrimeMediaPlus.com and Prime Media Plus app.
Enjoy the thrill of the Soccer Punches Challenge, Weekend Edition, an all-new platform from Hollywood Bets. You stand a chance to win a share of the 5 million rand jackpot when you bet 5 rand or more on selected EPL matches over the weekend and correctly predict 10 out of 10 winning margins. Or chase the share of the 50,000 rand leaderboard prize. Entry is free. Let this soccer season bring sizzling success. Bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Listen up, corporates. Wrap up your tax year on a meaningful note by donating to DKMS. Your support assists in fighting life-threatening blood cancers by enabling DKMS to recruit more potential donors as well as raising patients' chances of finding a match. And there's an added advantage. Enjoy the benefits of a Section 18A tax certificate, which grants your company a well-deserved rebate. Be a force for good this tax season by giving those in need a new lease on life. Email fundraising at dkms-africa.org to donate today.
Meet McDonald. He is the self-proclaimed king of homegrown veggies. You see, McDonald believes as long as he sprinkles the seeds, the veggies will grow. He even promised beetroot and carrots to the entire neighborhood. Now, abantu bazotini, when the neighbors are asking for their share, but not a single veggie has grown. Booty, avoid the embarrassment. Make smarter decisions for your home. Visit Cashbuild for quality gardening tools and seeds at the lowest prices. Cashbuild.
Coming up
on 702 Drive.
702 Drive is coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. Thabo Shola standing in for John Perlman.
I don't know.
Sir.
I don't know why you're speaking like that. I have no idea.
How's it going?
There's always something.
What did you do yesterday? Were you reconciling?
No, I was in Botswana.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just for a visiting?
A bit of work.
Okay, so earlier I asked, what do husbands and mkwenyanas do when they visit their in-laws? And some men say, firstly, Lea guy.
Exactly.
So what do you think?
No, I agree with that guy. Lea guy, you shouldn't be visiting at all unless it's a funeral, God forbid, a party or some feast. But you shouldn't be. What are you doing there?
What do you mean? When you got married, you said you're now a son of this new home. That's what you're doing there. They're your parents. What
That's
do you mean?
being courteous.
those are your children's grandparents or ringna?
Yeah, not my grandparents.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Not mine, right? They're my children's relatives.
Male loneliness epidemic. Bolela ka lena. They're talking about you.
What are you doing there?
At
What
your
are you
in-laws.
doing there? Yeah,
you're
doing what?
visiting, you're bonding with your father-in-law, you're getting to understand your wife better by spending time with her mother.
Okay.
You're getting to observe your children's different personalities come out as they hang out with their
You
grandparents.
can't do that when they're visiting you.
So you would prefer your in-laws come and
let
sleep
them
at
come through.
So the
Yeah, you're
issue-
there, it's awkward and you don't know what
so
to do.
the issue is you wanna be Ntate wa Muntu.
Exactly.
That's the issue. You wanna walk out with your boxes and say, in my house.
You get there and their daughter is serving their father first with the biggest chunk of meat and serving you second. And you're like, am I not the man of the
No,
house?
how would you feel though if she did serve you first when her father's right there?
I'm like, yeah, that's the way to go. Yep, show him, babe. I'm the man.
I can't even deal. What's coming
I
up?
love getting myself into trouble, ne?
Listen,
I always do, and I fall for it. You pull me through. I fall for this all the time.
the thing is, I know you are saying it as a joke, but we know that is the reality. For some people, it's the fact that I worked hard to be a man of my house. Now I must go be Ngwana, go be a son.
You can't even hold hands. You're like a little boy messing around. No, guys, no.
Go kiss her at the back by the tree. Find a tree at the back to kiss your wife there.
You were battling Halijola. You're still battling now. No.
What's coming up on your show today?
Yeah, a couple of things. You must have seen that story about Bapong, the illegal mining in Bapong in Northwest. The police are continuing to raid that area. It's a very serious issue, and we know how people feel about illegal mining. And there's a very interesting and groundbreaking judgment, a victory for consumers. And in this groundbreaking judgment, a game changer for consumers, banks and dealerships that will will be forced to repay consumers who have purchased defective vehicles financed by the institutions. You'd remember before you'd buy a car, and if there's a defect, there'd be a back and forth, an ending back and forth. Whose fault is it? But now SCA, Supreme Court of Appeals, has said that banks and dealerships must pay some money. I'm hoping they don't take it to the Constitutional Court, because that will cause a delay. But if this...
Guys, Concord is busy.
We've
got, please do.
Yeah.
Can you just solve things at a certain level? We have other issues that need serious attention. Concord is busy.
But that's why it's so expensive to access it. That's why it's so expensive to access the Concord. But DJ Warris, that story, will be speaking to Oren. And the crux of it for us on the show this afternoon, Relebogile, is that the state of the inner city, Johannesburg CBD, is really deteriorating at the fastest of levels. And we are numb about it. We've come to accept that you can't walk in small street. It's dangerous. We should be doing something. Who needs to die? Who needs to be kidnapped for us to really say enough is enough?
But also, what mafia of hijacked buildings is going on? Like, I still need to understand what the business model is that you're making money. So I'm assuming because you've taken over the building, you're charging people rent, right?
Yeah.
So you're making money without having to maintain the building or anything.
Yeah.
But is it that much money that somebody's like, I'm so
confused. But you didn't even
confused.
buy the building. Remember, it's not even yours to start
No,
off
yeah.
with. So there was no capital investment.
Yes, there's no capital.
Yeah.
But you invest in something as a criminal, whether it's weapons, groundsmen to do the thing. So I'm trying to understand, what is this business model that needs to be protected? Like, how much money is being made here?
Yeah. And we'll explore all that and more. And on a lighter note, the tips. Why are we tipping barbers, petrol attendants? Why are we not tipping talk show hosts then, if we're going to go that route? Everyone else is being tipped.
I asked for a tip this
guys?
week.
Did you?
I asked, was it on Monday? I said, guys, if you really, please tip me. My e-wallets are open.
So there is this thing that actually 10% is also outdated. It must start from 20% upwards. Why? So all that and more between 3 and 6.
702 drive coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. with the very difficult Thabo Sholemashao.
702
Masterclass.
20 minutes to 3 o'clock. We continue with our masterclass for today. as we talk about the silent divorce. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. So the message came through from Farai Jabu, who is with us, marriage counselor Jabu Zwani, and it says, I have a problem with the term silent divorce because the mention of the D word itself plants the idea in one's head. If we use the D word here, how do we now term a separation? I believe just like moods, marriage, feelings have their phases for each individual. Some people fall in and out of love as long as it's not permanently negative or no feelings for one or both, whichever. Marriage counseling is crucial. How would you like to respond to that?
The term, yes, it is not a psychological term. It actually comes from the silent quitting, which was used in the job market, where people actually checked out of work. They come into work, they're getting paid, but they've literally checked out. They're either giving 10%, 12%, 30% of the effort. And the idea here is to actually prompt that whole awareness that, hey, listen, if silence is continuing over a long period of time and has become more of a trend or a pattern of the behavior, the relationship no longer exists. What you have is two entities existing in the same home, and only talking to each other purely from the point of administration. And the part of a marriage is, of course, communication. It is about companionship. It's about compatriotism. It is about being each other's counselors. It's about being each other's confidants. And if there are no sharing of those elements, it's about vulnerability and co-journeying together in life. If that is not happening, it's only a matter of time before you catch up. Your own psychology catches up with the fact that you are not together, although you are together in the same place. And if a person wants more than that, the likelihood then is that they're going to start looking elsewhere. And so it is actually more using the word to ring the alarming bell. To say, if that's happening, watch out.
It's a red flag, and you're potentially heading in that direction. Don't take it lightly as just a rough patch, because that's a space where things can get completely out of hand. I'm looking at some of the messages that have come through. One says, hi, I'm Christina from Olifantsfontein. What is the best decision to handle silent divorce? And obviously we know there are nuances about how you got there and all those things, but they're asking as a general question.
I mean, the first thing is to actually tackle it head on, to state, listen, I am concerned about us. We're not talking about each other. We're not, even though we are in the same place, but we are not really connecting. I long for more connection. What can we be able to do to connect again? What can we be able to do to bring back intimacy in the bedroom again? What can we do to start enjoying each other so that we don't feel like we're each other's burdens in the same space? It starts with the conversation. It starts with the honesty to say, this is what I'm comfortable with regarding this whole situation. This is how it's making me feel, and this is what I would love to see. What do you think? The thing about it is that some of these things you have to tackle them head on, and I think the biggest part is that show your care, show your desire, show what it is that you are willing to do to make it change.
Okay, another one says, please keep me anonymous. I had a godmother who was divorced with her husband. Partly he was an alcoholic, would break stuff on a peaceful house she built. They slept in different beds, not out of preference. They hardly communicated. When he died, she was not there. Her two sons begged her to come, and apparently she came as a stranger, dress code and all. I'm assuming that this became a silent divorce before it became a real divorce.
Yeah. It probably had the element we talked about of dehumanization, whether it be when the husband was drunk and whatever insults that he probably was hurling at her, or whatever that trauma that he created. Maybe he wasn't necessarily attacking her, but he was breaking stuff. And we all know sometimes how important it is for you for the stuff you worked hard for to be valued, to be protected. And so when somebody attacks something that you worked hard for, although it's an item, but if they're doing that on purpose, it is actually an attack on an undermining of your own hard work. So the likelihood is that it started long before that happened. And I think that's what we need to understand, is that there is a point where you start to check out, and then eventually you're going to check out officially. If emotionally you're not there, psychologically you're not there, spiritually you're not there, when it comes to important matters that concern the other person, you're not at all even concerned, you're not even moved, there's a point where you can ask yourself, like, why am I here? What am I doing here? What's the point of all of this? And if you care and you say, I still have love for this person, I still want my marriage to work, I still want to make sure that my kids are raised in a healthy environment, because your kids are watching that and thinking, it's okay to be cold in love. It's okay to not be taken care of, to not be nurtured, to not be listened to. It's okay to be dismissed as if you don't even exist and only be dealt with for what you can bring to the table, and not so much for your own presence to be valued. You must also remember that even when the kids are involved, that you are teaching them, because they're learning through observation. 95% of the things we are learning through observation. We're not necessarily sitting in a class of life and being taught by a teacher. While we are observing, and your kids are learning that love is distant, it's disconnected, it's cold, and it is dismissive.
Oh, that is a tough one, a very, very a tough one. Look at some of the messages here. This one says, I silently divorced my ex-husband 8 months before I physically left him. And most people don't believe me when I say that it was because he had checked out even longer than that. Planning holidays without me, splurging on himself without consideration of the needs of our household and that of our children, spending more time with friends in the streets more than his own family. I tried counseling, family intervention, and nothing worked, and he still said he wants this marriage. Then I made plans to leave and use the 8 months to financially prepare myself and my children. This is from Lerato in Midrand.
And that is unfortunately the sad reality of it, is that actually it happens way long. I mean, I remember I was watching recently, somebody was being asked, when did you know that it was done? And the lady said that when there are these chocolates that he used to buy me, and then no matter how much trouble we had, he would always buy me this chocolate.
Just as the reminder.
Just as a reminder that. But then one day he stopped. He didn't, when he bought the groceries, he didn't buy me my chocolates. And she dismissed and said, oh, you know what, it's fine. Maybe he just forgot. And then the next month, and the next thing you know, it had been a year. And then she realized that it's not just the chocolates, but it's everything else that he also has stopped doing.
Sure.
So yes, it does happen long before. And this is why this conversation is so important. We're not saying you divorce because it's silent, but we're saying silence is communicating disconnection. The crucial part of a relationship is communication. Words are an important part of that. Hugging, nonverbal communication of embrace, of affection, are a crucial part of that, because that is where we feel like we matter for who we are as individuals, as human beings, not for what we do. Remember the other questions we mentioned last week, that if I'm asking myself, is that how I want, for what do I matter? Is that how I want to matter? And should I change it? And so if those things are not happening, where I'm not checking, how are you? How is that dream that you had? How is that vision that you wanted to achieve? Hey, you had a bit of an illness the other day. How's that? How's your mom? How's your dad? How are these important things to you as a human being? How are you doing? And then the person that you're spending so much of a time with, having taken the time to do that, that is what marriage is about. And when that is out, and the only time you hear from me is, have you taken the kids? Did we pay for the bill? The guys are coming to deliver something
Just
at home.
The business aspects, logistics aspects, not the friendship or even the romantic. I'm going to ask you to put on your headphones as we take a call. 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Donald from Tembisa. Hi, Donald.
Hello, Relebogile. How are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
Yeah, thank you for taking my calls. And how are you, say?
I'm fine. And you, man?
Yes, I'm not fine, man. I have a friend of mine. You see, I have a friend of mine. I think he divorced his wife, silently, because this guy he don't go home during the holidays, right now, and he's working, and he's not going to home at home. He don't talk to his wife. He don't send money at home. What troubles me is that when I'm at home, I see his wife and his children every day, and they're struggling. They don't have shoes. They don't have they don't have shoes, Christmas clothes, and I don't know what to do. He's my friend. I don't know if I don't know what to do. So I can buy them clothes for Christmas with my money. And I don't know what to do because this thing is troubling me, man. Because his wife is always crying that because his wife knows me. And you see, I'm working with him. Like I'm staying with him here in Tembisa, but he's not home. So this thing is troubling me. I don't know what to do, man. Because you find out that I have money, I have something so that I can buy clothes for his children. And so I don't know what to do. If I do that, maybe they will be fine. I don't know what to do, man. Can you please just help me with that, man?
Sure. Thank you so much, Donald, for that question, especially because you are observing from the outside. You won't know all the dynamics on the inside. But Jabu, what would you advise if, especially as a man friend, is saying, hey, man, I'm noticing you are a husband. What should he be doing? What do you advise?
I would say that if he's a friend, he needs to check in with a friend and be compassionately curious as to what's going on, man. How is it that you're not going home? Is everything okay? I'm observing this about your children. I'm observing this about your wife. Look, I don't want to meddle in your business, but as a brother, as a friend, I'm concerned in terms of what I'm observing. Your kids don't seem to be taken care of, and your wife is in distress, and you are not going home when it's time for you to go home. You have a choice to go home, but you choose not to go home. What's happening? I think it is important as a friend to find out and to confront the friend. I would strongly advise against getting involved in the way that
by sending money for things like, you're going to be crossing certain boundaries and it's going to be very awkward.
And he can find himself in the line of fire because then he can very easily become an scapegoat. If the guy is looking for a way out, what if he starts being accused of having an affair with a woman? So as much as I understand and I can feel in his heart like he really bleeds for his kids, the person that he needs to have a strong conversation with is his friend. Absolutely.
Anonymous says, it's a lot of things that have contributed to us being permanent roommates, but I can relate to this topic. I'm unemployed and my wife feels like I am her child as she takes care of the financial bills. Our conversations and normal day-to-day interactions is just non-existent. Just this morning, what's for supper? Or did you collect the kids from school? So I do believe that we are permanent roommates and not husband and wife. That's a very, very tough one because on the one hand, you might have a wife who is feeling the frustration and the burden and the weight of carrying, even though she knows it might not be his fault or he's doing everything possible. On the other hand, you have a husband who's finding himself in a very terrible situation, not just what society says, but whatever he may feel he needs to feel like he is living a purposeful life, contributing to society. What do you advise to Anonymous?
I would say the following. I mean, let's say that, he's tried everything he can and he's still not finding the job. My question to you would be, how are you making it easier for her as somebody that is supporting financially? Do you check in on her to see, okay, love, listen, I know that these things have been going on, but how are you doing? Is there anything else that I can be able to do to support you? Because the challenge with
making her a lunchbox or something, taking something off her hands,
doing something that says, listen, we are in this thing together and I want to do the best that I possibly can to make this thing easier for you as well. Because let's face it, especially in terms of men, because of the traditional expectation for men to be the ones who are providers, the man himself can be has some serious emotional struggle with being in that position, and unfortunately indirectly take out his own frustrations towards the wife by being irritated easily and not liking being asked questions because he feels like he's being questioned because he doesn't have the money. And sometimes when he's being invited to have conversations about finances, especially when the wife suggests something that he doesn't agree with, and he sees that as, well, you're deciding to go with your decision because it's your money, so what's the point of involving me? And you can check out of those important conversations about children, money, house, and important decisions regarding the marriage itself, because you feel like you're at a disadvantage financially because you don't have the financial muscle. And I'm going to ask you this question, is that how much work have you done yourself to still lead and to still be involved in the marriage without feeling as though you can't be a participant because of you don't bring the money in the marriage?
And that's a hard one, especially if all you know is being the provider.
Yes.
When you can no longer be a provider, what are the other things you're able to be? What other roles can you play? There's an interesting one here which says, I feel sorry for black parents in particular because they themselves grew up in a highly oppressive and limiting environment. My dad left home at 14 to move to a big city, so we weren't restricted at all. Referred to as silent divorce, this phenomenon is a form of emotional separation that leaves couples physically present but disengaged long before they even consider a formal split. While therapists say these circumstances show up more anecdotally instead of statistically, it's not new behavior. What are your thoughts on that one? Because we do know the dynamics of back in the day, black fathers were sent away. They had other husbands. Sometimes they even knew who was at home taking care of their wives. I'm not sure if the concept of silent divorce sort of applies here, that maybe when Papa goes home, they're not really like a married couple because they're not connected in one another's day-to-day lives.
Yeah, I mean, the marriage, unfortunately, in those cases, very much became about, again, the operation and keeping more the family together because of they got married, but it became almost practically impossible to be together in the same place. And so when this person comes back from wherever they came from, they've grown and you've grown, right? Remember we said last week that if you don't grow together, you're going to grow apart. And unfortunately, they literally physically are growing apart, but psychologically and emotionally as well growing apart. When the person comes, they find it difficult then to emotionally connect. They find it difficult again to have the conversation. And yes, it is true; it may have happened that way. But let's bring it here because this still is quite common where couples are not necessarily in the same space, and they're not physically in the same space. It's important to continue to have conversations, to check in on each other every day, to find out how the other person is doing. It's important to be intentional that when you do get together in the same space again, to have your special time together. It can't just be about, okay, I brought the money, I brought the groceries, I brought the furniture, but how do we make sure that we connect? Leaving the kids, going out, and making sure that you create some kind of rituals. That's an us moment. That is an us time where we get to really connect because you don't get as much time to connect. Coming from home and just coming home to just relax and then wanting your wife to serve you, or maybe in this case it's a wife doing that. How is that helping you with that emotional connection?
Sure. And I think you're touching on something so big there. And, just based on the many messages that have been coming through about people realizing that they themselves are finding themselves in a position of being in a silent divorce without knowing what to do about it. But folks, if you want to get in touch with Jabu, his website is jabuzwane.co.za, jabuzwane.co.za. It is never too late. If there's a will from both parties and you feel like you would like to save your marriage, there's absolutely no shame in asking for help, whether you are the husband, whether you are the wife. And I think we need homes to be built, healthy, loving homes. And if it's not to work out, end it in a healthy way. Don't continue in limbo that is going to disturb other parties, in particular the children as well. Jabu, thank you for your time.
Great pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Loretta.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
You're finally taking your long-awaited break.
You're going to see your family.
And you're saying goodbye for now.
To your 9 to 5.
But you don't have to say goodbye to your favorite talk station.
Talk station.
This festive season, 702 will keep playing your favorite songs.
Having engaging conversations.
And keeping you entertained. So, make sure to sit back,
relax,
and walk the talk with us this festive season.
Download the Prime Media Plus app to make sure you don't miss a single conversation.
Happy holidays
from 702.
Every December, it's the same story. New toys, new clothes, and more takeaways. And by January, the bonus is gone. Grow it, don't blow it. With a Nedbank investment. Invest 100,000 Rand or more in a Nedbank 12-month electronic fixed deposit account and stand a chance to win 50,000 Rand. Invest your bonus and grow your future. See money differently. Nedbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
A man driven to the edge. I don't know where you are. I don't know who you're with. When his beloved takeaway was taken away. I will look for you. I will find you. And I will eat you.
It's the summer of stars at Simply Asia. Stand a chance to win a Toyota Starlet when you spend 200 Rand or more on our famous flavors. Order now. Simply Asia. Connecting the Thai way.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Thank you for joining us. It's just after 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
The president is still waiting for the Malanga interim report, and SIU secures a preservation order in lotteries corruption matter.